This is a great follow-up question to the answer that we just heard from Mayor Sarno, because the truth of the matter is the cut that was made in that budget partially was a redirection of overtime resources to training and was actually put on the agenda by Mayor Sarno himself, because we all recognized as leaders in the city of Springfield that we needed to do more to make sure that our officers had the resources, cultural competency, and ability to interact and earn the trust of the public, which is critical for public safety. The other piece of that cut was relative to money that was essentially snuck in to the police department budget to fund what we viewed and what I truly believe was an illegal lease of a piece of property by a campaign donor of the mayor's. That money didn't belong in that budget. It should have been in the facilities budget, and we cut it because it was a bad deal for the people of Springfield. If we commit to the reforms that we know we must implement, we can attract and retain more police recruits. And we are hearing from Mayor Sarno's own handpicked superintendent that she can't recruit under his leadership.
Thank you. Orlando Ramos, you're next.
So, police community relations, number one. We have to improve the relationship between the police and the community to show people that we do have a police department that we can be proud of. I will add to the comments that were made earlier regarding the shooting range that was cut. It was $800,000 for the shooting range that was cut. The deal that the mayor made was $800,000 a year for 16 years for a building that the owner pays $750,000 for. Now, you don't need to be a math major to know that that math doesn't add up. And so we did that to protect the taxpayers of the city of Springfield. We have to do better with police community relations in order to attract more police officers, but we also need to bring police officers into the school in a more positive way. When I was a kid, we used to have the DARE program in the Springfield Public Schools. Now when you see a police officer in a school, it's probably not for a good reason. It's probably not good news. So we need to bring police officers into the schools in a positive way to show our children and our students that this is a police department that we can be proud of.
Thank you, Orlando. Mayor Sarno.
We constantly run academies. We're constantly out there. My Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, Judy Crowell, Deputy Chief Rupert Daniels, on recruiting. It's been very difficult. Moms and dads do not want their individuals, sons or daughters, to become police officers. Where we used to have 12 to 1,500 taking the exam, now you're lucky to have 250. When you look at our police department, we reflect our community. We are at parity. And matter of fact, now have two deputy chiefs, African-American deputy chiefs, Larry Akers and Rupert Daniels, and we continue to do that. Education's the key. We go out there and recruit the community policing, the C3 policing, to build relationships. But I think this is something that has been a challenge throughout the United States of America.
Thank you. And now Dr. Ciampi.
Sorry. I think that perception and reality seems to get blurred. And I think that one of the things that we can do is community policing is really important. How we do that's very important to project a positive image of law enforcement. There are three pillars in law enforcement that I think is really important in terms of developing greater genuine partnerships between the police and the residents to encourage people to look at the police as in a positive light. One is respect, professionalism, and courtesy. And those three pillars, I think, is very important to create a perception that, hey, you know, joining the police force is a real positive thing. And I think that's the route to go. It's more perceptual of an issue, I believe.
And Justin Hurst.
Thank you for the question. We need to change the culture, and it starts at the top. I mean, the mayor's last response was about as disingenuous as it gets, and it's reflective of the leadership that we have. It's also reflective of the police chief that we have in place now, who was on vacation while we had 6 homicides in the city of Springfield last week. While she was listening to the waves were crashing down on the city of Springfield. And so we know we need a new police chief here in the city of Springfield, one that lives here, one that actually values the residents, and one that is reflective of the residents here in the city of Springfield. In addition, we need to make sure that we're going to implement the consent decree with fidelity. If we're trying to change the culture, we can't go kicking and screaming with trying to implement reforms here in the city of Springfield that we all know are necessary
And thank you,
are the
Justin.
reasons why.